Hey now, hey now.
Hey guys, what's up?
What's up, everybody? So glad you are here. Welcome to another episode of Highly Suspect.
I'm kind of digging that new intro.
You like it?
A little bit.
Yeah. We sat down. We've got more work to do on that, but we tried to make intros for each of our shows. And so far, so good, I guess. We've got some other improvements, not to mention the one thing that drives me crazy.
The one thing?
The one of many, possibly the top thing,
For now.
is trying to get this freaking camera angle set.
Oh, I know. It's okay. We're not going to spend the whole thing.
I don't get it. Okay, so listen, we use a webcam, whatever, that's fine. We're working with what we got, okay? But what drives me nuts is no matter where I put this camera, I can never get her and I in the picture as much as I want to. Like how y'all see me when I do the show and you can see like the whole arm of this and everything. I want both sides to look like that. And I can't no matter where I put it.
You can't do it because you have two monitors on here and the camera can only go in one spot. And that's the problem. The camera has to sit right there in the middle of those two monitors, it limits,
But how did these other YouTubers do it?
Because they don't have two monitors in front of their face.
Yes, they did. They got like 20.
No, they don't.
They got like 20 monitors.
No, they don't. Anyway, that's not what they're here for.
God. No, they listen to this, what do we call this, a network, over-the-line network?
Yes.
They listen to this stuff
The
because
OTL network.
they want to hear me complain.
Yeah.
That's why they listen. So, anyway, welcome to the show, Trish. Welcome to your own show.
Well, thank you.
Glad you could make it.
Me too.
What are we talking about today?
Well, I've been on this trek to uncover the Rothschilds family for the past couple of weeks.
Right.
But the last few weeks, I've also noticed that TikTok has blown up with a lot of prepper videos and a lot of videos leading up to why these people are prepping so much. And I'm not talking about the typical preppers. I'm talking about people that you wouldn't see prepping.
Like, what's an example?
Well, like people like us that, don't even have groceries for the week in the cabinets.
Right.
It's just crazy. And so I've started kind of going down the rabbit hole of why these people are doing this. And man, I'm telling you what, there's a lot of stuff there, and I thought it'd be interesting for us to kind of uncover a little bit of that stuff.
Yeah, you started sending me that stuff the other day, and there was a couple accounts that I kept seeing their stuff, and they were farmers, and they were talking about this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
But I never really dug too far into it.
I know. You don't watch my TikToks that I send you.
I watch every one of them.
No, you don't.
I may let about 12 of them accumulate before I do, but I watch every one of them.
All right, we're about to see. We're about to test that theory out.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, so I sent you a bunch. Do you want to play some of them on the show tonight?
Absolutely.
Okay. So basically, some of the things we're going to talk about, we can go into the farmers first. One of the TikToks that I've seen going around quite a bit. Now, I say TikToks because if you try to find this on Google or YouTube, you can't find it. It seems to me that YouTube and Google are way more censored than TikTok.
Right.
Okay. But if you go onto TikTok, you can find plenty of this stuff. So there is a rumor going around that farmers are being paid to destroy their crops.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's some of the TikToks that we're going to play. They're actual farmers that are saying, yes, this is true. And other ones saying, no, it's not.
Right.
So you're going to have to pull this up. I sent them to you in Messenger, though.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
I've got the TikTok app on this computer as well.
Okay.
So maybe it'll pull them up as we go. I don't know.
Yeah.
So how many did you send?
I sent you 3.
I haven't even looked yet.
See, I told you guys. He's not watching my TikToks.
I wasn't ready. So I've got one here.
That's from today, honey. I sent these to you yesterday. We were going to do the show yesterday.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so.
Yeah, and then you had to break the news on something else. Okay, so the very first one that we're going to play is the general TikTok that you've been seeing everywhere where they're saying, hey, get ready because they're paying us to destroy our crops.
Right.
Okay?
Okay. Now, what's weird about TikTok is the fact that you got to play it off the top. It plays as soon as you pull it up. So I'm going to try to do this the right way. Here we go.
Every farmer I know has received a letter in the last 30 days from the Department of Agriculture offering them $3,800 an acre to dispose of their crops. If they do not, they lose 35 cents per pound when they bring in harvest. This is only a 117-acre crop. It will be sold. It won't be disposed of. But they're trying to control the supply chain, ladies and gentlemen. We can't allow that to happen. If you control the food supply, you control the world. Be prepared, ladies and gentlemen, just like I've been telling you. Shortages are coming. Stock up. Be aware. Don't get caught with your pants down, because I promise you, it's coming.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to get caught with your pants
Well,
down.
and I was going to say that's you like 3 times a day.
Getting caught with my pants
I'm
down?
having to tell you to pull your pants up.
Yeah, that's actually true.
You have a belt issue. Yeah, so that is something. Now, I do understand that TikTok has an algorithm just like the other, platforms. So you get kind of, if they see that you're watching something, they'll continue to send you the same similar things with the same similar hashtags and things like that. So
Right.
My feed has been full of this stuff, though. Now, this is the next farmer, if you can time that one just right.
Okay, let's see if we can do this. These TikToks, the fact that they're so short messes me up.
Happy Independence Day to each and every one of you. And by the way, the government's not paying farmers $3,800 an acre to destroy their crops to control the food supply. Thank you. Have a nice day.
See, that's another one saying it's not happening.
Wait, I'm confused.
Okay, the first farmer said I was offered $3,800 per acre to destroy my crops.
Didn't the first guy say he had people telling him that they were getting the offer?
He said all of the farmers he knew, including
Right.
himself, and all the other farmers he knew. Now, here's another farmer saying that's not happening.
So basically, the last two we watched are contradicting each other.
Exactly. I'm
But-
trying to show you all sides of it.
Okay. Well,
Now-
what about, is it possible that this guy is trying to send a secret message and he doesn't want to get banned on TikTok? So he's like, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
I don't know, but pull up the third one that I sent you.
Okay.
Well, not that one. Go to the fourth one.
What's that one about?
That's another woman saying, yes, my husband has been offered.
Oh, okay. I thought it was some sort of a, adult joke TikTok or something.
No.
I figured it would be.
Well, TikTok, I finally got my letter yesterday. The letter asking you to destroy some crop. Along with the letter, I had to sign for a certified package, which included these two binders, and then, of course, this 3-ring binder on how to properly dispose of your crops. And as you can tell, it's on government paper. And as you can tell, this here is the affected area in my section of the county, closest town, and of course you can't run away. They even know where you live. So from the county tracts, then they break it down into these individual farm tracts that you have to destroy. And you can see the crop or the field size. Field maps I've shown you was all contracted corn to Anheuser-Busch. It was to be shipped to the Colorado brewery for the production of Busch Light. If I was you, I'd be getting stocked up on Busch Light.
So, first of all, why do they keep the music that they're playing on these TikToks is makes it hard to concentrate because it's like ho down honky tonk bar country music,
Right.
and we're talking about things that are super scary.
Yeah, but on TikTok, that's how people get their attention is with the music.
So,
So
the
this guy's
government
he's actually showing the documents.
didn't just send him a letter; they sent him a binder
showing
with
him which fields to destroy.
special instructions. Now, this
Yep.
is a guy who obviously has big contracts with big companies if he's sending crops to make Busch Light.
Right.
So,
You're nervous about your beer, aren't you?
No, I'm just trying to follow it. I'm getting it's getting lost on me a little bit, but
Is it because you slept for 2 hours in the last
yes,
24 hours?
absolutely. That's
No,
exactly
what are you
it is.
lost on?
I don't know. I'm trying to comprehend why the government wants the crops destroyed. I get the food supply, okay,
Right.
but
So
where does
that's your
Bush Light come in on that?
Well, I don't think it has to do with the beer specifically. I think it's just all the farmers.
Yeah.
You know, or you know what I mean?
Okay, so there's another one, and then
Don't just start clicking on random TikTok.
well, you just
That has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
okay. Well,
We will be pulling up more, but that's not.
oh, that's the only ones for now.
Oh, I mean, there's more farmers in there that I sent you, but I mean, basically, that's one of the conspiracies going on right now is that the government is offering $3,800 per acre to destroy the crops. Now, when I Google and try to do some research on Google, I do find where the government's offered some farmers in certain states to destroy their crops, but they're saying the reason is a water supply issue.
$3,800. They were paying bums $3,800 a month in unemployment to sit at home and do nothing. What makes them think farmers are gonna willingly take $3,800 to burn their crops that are probably worth much more than that?
But did you hear them say that on the flip side that they're going to decrease how much money they're going to get? And you forget they get subsidies from the government.
Right.
You know, a lot of these farmers lose money. If it weren't for the subsidies they get, they wouldn't make a profit.
Right.
So, I mean, if you think you're going to lose your subsidies, plus they're going to make it where your crops are worth less going to market, that you might not have a choice to keep your head above water.
Well.
And I would ask you what you think about that conspiracy, but it sounds like you can't even follow it.
Well, it's, I mean, obviously the dude's got his, the binder and the letters concerning for sure. But there's got to be more to the story, in my opinion.
Right.
There's got to be more to it. But I firmly believe that there are people out there that'll be talking about. I'm talking about people with a loud voice. Somebody else, people that others listen to, that is going to pick up on this and start talking about it and bring it to light. So it's only a matter of time.
Something to watch for.
If this is in fact what these TikTok people are telling us it is.
Yeah. Yeah, because if you pull it up, you can find dozens of farmers talking about they got the same offer.
Yeah.
And it's to control the food supply. So I think that's kind of interesting.
It's bizarre.
Yeah, it really is.
So besides that, what else is there?
That's it.
That's it. All right. Hey, it was a good show. Thank y'all for hanging out with us. We appreciate it. We'll be back with a new show next week.
Well, a lot of the TikToks right now, like I said, are and I'm bringing up TikTok because the other social
we spend
media
3/4 of our life on TikTok.
Okay, airing our dirty laundry. But the other social media platforms are so censored, you don't see anything on YouTube anymore. You don't see anything on Facebook or anything like that, like where people are trying to communicate with each other and kind of give each other information. So that's pretty much been the only place I've been able to see people connecting the dots, if you will, on this stuff. But another thing that we're seeing a lot of are people at different cargo places saying that shipments are being held for 3 weeks at a time. And then you also see a lot of TikToks where people in some states where they haven't gotten food shipments in 3 weeks. Now, we're not seeing that where we live. I mean, the shelves are getting bare. And I had a friend tell me today he has to drive 2 hours to get large shipment, large quantities of paint because he's a painter. And he's starting to see a supply and demand issue there, but we haven't really seen the food issue so much yet here.
Yeah, there were TikToks popping up over the past month or so, and people in just random small towns that they were going to Walmart and the shelves were bare.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and so that's the food supply thing is an issue, and that I thought that was kind of interesting because I have seen a lot of, especially with Dollar Generals and Walmarts.
Yeah.
Where they go in and the shelves are completely empty.
We may be living off the land soon, our own land.
Well, and some of the other stuff that's going on with these millionaires that are building these bunkers, like Bill Gates, for instance. You know, he's been building these giant bunkers. Have you seen that?
No.
Okay. Pull up. I got your tab up there for you. The video, before you start playing it, the guy that's in this particular video, he actually has a YouTube channel with like, I don't know, 300,000 or 400,000 subscribers, but he builds bunkers. And I mean like the $1 million bunkers.
What's the guy's name?
It's like Atlas or something like that. I can't remember.
Atlas Survival Shelters.
Yes, and he is like he was even on the Kardashians, for instance, when they were looking at building bunkers. He was on that show. But
Okay.
he is like the guy to go to, okay? And this,
Gotcha.
yeah,
Go.
that's it.
Okay.
You can go ahead and play it.
Just making sure.
Bill Gates is a guy like me. He's rational. He's not a cuckoo. Neither am I. But no, Bill Gates has been talking so long about the things that really scare him. You got to think about this. When the richest man of the world is worried about something and he's spending his own money, and the rumors are tens of millions of dollars on some of these lavish bunkers that he's got, you better listen, because that man is on the inside and you are on the outside. Trust me, he's part of the Bilderberg Group. He's part of the New World Order. That man is on the know, okay, in the know. And I mean, even more than President of the United States. President doesn't get invited to the Bilderberg Group and all that stuff, but Bill Gates does. Okay, so anyway, so all these articles are on the news. So if you guys want to have some fun, get on Google and start Googling these things. I'm going to read some of these articles. I want you to look at them. If you don't think that he's worried about that, look at this article. It says, Bill Gates and America's millionaires are building underground survival bunkers. Here's another one. How scared should I be? A contagious disease will wipe out humanity. Here's another one. Billionaires are preparing for the apocalypse. Do they know something you don't know? Another one. Bill Gates fears plague that could wipe out humanity. Here's another one. Bill Gates thinks a coming disease could wipe out or could kill 30 million people within 6 months, and says we should prepare for it as we do war. And these articles are everywhere, guys. I mean, I'm just not making this stuff up. But you know, the one that I like the most is this one here that was printed by News Punch. And I'm going to read it to you because he actually quotes me in this one. I like this. It says, Bill Gates builds nuclear bunker, tells staff to leave the country. Bill Gates urgently ordered the construction of a nuclear bunker at his Seattle property and has advised long-term employees to leave the United States before the following weekend, says a member of the staff. He didn't say how long we should be away, but he said we should definitely leave before the following weekend, said Mr. Hall, a pool technician who says he watched the construction of the nuclear bunker and explains it is large enough to comfortably hold a handful of people only. Besides the nuclear bunker, several smaller tunnels and bunkers were built underneath the main residence, connecting them up to a small underground fortress.
Yeah, so now there's been lots of articles about this and pictures of his bunker. And by the way, do you think that guy's still employed? After going public, the pool technician, after going public with his.
No, well, yeah, you come out with that. You don't tell him what you do for Bill Gates. Did he just change clothes?
No, what he did is he said this is actually a really good channel, but he took a clip of himself where he made a video previously and said exactly what they put in the article that Bill Gates said. It was almost like Bill Gates quoted this guy.
Gotcha.
So he kind of time-lapsed himself back in.
Yeah.
But, I mean, like I said, he is like the main guy to go to for bunkers, or one of them.
Is this actual footage of the Bill Gates stuff that he's actually building?
Yeah,
This is
and
from Bill Gates' gimmick?
Yes, and if you watch the video, Bill Gates is in the video explaining all of it, and it's got tunnels and bulletproof doors and what do you call it? A decontamination suite and all kinds of stuff.
Weird.
Isn't that crazy?
That is.
And then like this, Elon Musk has sold all of his property with the exception of one home that he uses for entertaining people. Like, he doesn't live there. And he has moved on to the SpaceX base in a $50,000 pop-up house. But he is selling all of his belongings. It's like, what are these guys doing?
My primary home is literally a $50,000 house in Boca Chica Starbase that I rent from SpaceX. It's kind of awesome, though. Only house I own is the events house in the Bay Area. If I sold it, the house would see less use unless bought by a big family, which might happen someday. And he was responding to somebody named Matt Wallace saying Elon Musk lives very modestly by billionaire standards, only one residential house plus one for events. Elon Musk uses less resources than most multimillionaires despite working way harder. Plus, money sitting in stocks makes each money outside worth more. Okay.
I could tell you slept 2 hours. But if you see the next article I've got pulled up for you in the next tab, it's just article after article where he's come out and said, listen, I'm in the process of selling everything, or I have sold everything, and I'm living in a $50,000 house on the space, and he doesn't even own that one. He's just renting it from the SpaceX.
Right. Which doesn't he own SpaceX?
Well, he does, but
He's renting it from himself.
You know how that stuff works.
Yeah.
It's called corporation.
Elon Musk sells all his mansions and moves into tiny home June 6, 2021.
Yeah. And it's like all these people are putting plans into motion. I mean, these aren't the only two. They're the ones I pulled up, but it's kind of... Now, do you think it's because they're all feeling kind of weird like we are coming off of 2020 and they have some money to do something about it? Or do you think they know something that we don't know?
I guess it is possible, just trying to be cynical about it, to say, okay, they saw what happened in 2020 and they're like, man, that was rough.
I better get prepared.
Let me make sure the next time that happens, I'm ready.
Well, because honestly, like if we were in the situation where we had the money to do that, we'd have bunkers everywhere.
Well, and the one thing to be scared of, let's be honest, the one thing to be scared of when it comes to what happened in 2020 is the response from the government.
Oh, absolutely.
That's the scariest part of it.
Absolutely.
I better not say that.
Well, and with Elon Musk, in all fairness, he has been like quoted as saying many times that he wants to start a civilization on Mars and that he wants to sell everything and move to Mars.
I don't know that I'm willing to go somewhere where Elon Musk is the leader. He seems like he might be all right, but he's a little
He never
weird.
said anything about being the leader, did he?
You don't start your own civilization and not be the leader.
Well, nobody said he's going to be the one. What if it's already there?
What if he makes a robot the leader?
What if he is a robot?
You know, I've often thought that it would be good at times if our president was just an inanimate object.
Well,
And
if
just
our
all-
president is kind of an inanimate object.
That's actually true.
Your wish has been granted.
He's like a beat. He just sits there.
Yeah.
Doesn't say anything. Yeah, but think about that. If we had a president that just didn't do anything, nothing would get screwed up.
Yeah,
we'd
but
be able to
somebody's-
handle all this ourselves.
Somebody'd still be the president, though. They just wouldn't be. It'd be like the Wizard of Oz. There'd be somebody behind the curtain.
They'd be like, well, the carrot actually told me that we got to pass this bill, so
Yeah.
I guess you're right.
And I'm not allowed to say too much or I'll get in trouble.
Right.
Isn't that what he said?
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't know. It's just interesting. I mean, all this stuff is flying all over the place on TikTok and
Now,
all of the videos.
outside of that, there's also stuff like the ocean being on fire.
Right.
You know, just in the realm of talking about the panic of food shortages, rich people hiding all of a sudden, and the ocean's on fire, and they're trying to put out. So what? This is what I need to understand because I haven't looked too far into it. But the water's on fire, so there's a water fire, and we're
Well-
trying to put it out with water. Right.
It's kind of like you trying to put out a gas fire the other night with water.
Oh my God, I don't even want to say it.
Why not?
I was cooking bacon on the flat top on the grill, the gas grill, and I didn't think that the grease. I didn't think about the grease dripping into the grill, thus catching the grill on fire. And so when the fire started, it was an amazing fire. It was big and bold and beautiful.
And kissing the roof of the house.
Right. It was
Yeah.
possibly melting the gutters. But I didn't think about the fire being caused by grease. I thought, well, I just left the lid on too long. And so I did what I always do when the fire gets up on the grill, and I poured water on it, and that was a bad idea. And then it hit me, oh, this is a grease fire.
I think from now on, one of the prerequisites to you lighting that grill is going to be having baking soda out there ready to go.
I haven't even touched that grill since we dumped all that salt. I mean, we used all the salt in the house, all the
I
baking
bought
soda.
more. I got more.
I mean, I wonder if I need to go clean that up.
Probably.
It was only a week ago.
Yeah, probably so.
So the ocean's on fire.
Yeah, well, and there's been several explanations for it. Some people say it's a pipeline. Some people say it's a volcano. Some people say lightning struck. Obviously, we know what they tell us. We don't really know the truth. You just gonna fast forward through it.
Is this just footage of it?
Yeah, it looks kind of cool. But I saw on TikTok where they said that there's 6 places around the world that the ocean is on fire like this. It's not just in the Gulf of Mexico.
But this is the one from the Gulf.
This is
Good
the one.
Lord, look at that.
This is the one that's in the Gulf of Mexico.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah,
What do you think the fish in that area are thinking?
they're probably dead. They're
They're
probably
like-
not thinking much of anything.
Bro, is it just me? Look, let's put out the water fire with water.
Well, and that's one of the reasons why I brought this up in this episode, is because some people are saying that they're trying to contaminate the ocean so that we don't have that as a source for food.
Well, here's the thing. They're drilling for oil, right?
Right.
Or are they? I feel like a lot of the oil drilling's been stopped, but maybe not all of it. So they're drilling for oil. They have a leak in their process, and I'm not going to pretend like I know how the whole process works. How does the fire start in the water?
Well,
We know oil is flammable, obviously, but how does the fire start?
I don't know. I'm just telling you that they're saying lightning struck, and I don't know if that's true or not.
That seems a bit bizarre.
Yeah.
It seems like a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of a stretch. But if you Google it, you're going to find 3 or 4 different explanations for why it's on fire.
And
Which
what
is
are people
what's-
saying?
It's just crazy to me that there's so many explanations. There's got to be just the truth. You know?
Yeah.
One reason. But that's the problem. You can't trust anything that you see or read anymore.
No, the news is the mainstream news is going to have an explanation for this, but
We don't know if it's the truth.
how many times does the news have to get it wrong before you stop believing them?
Right.
I don't. Everything the news reports these days, I do not believe until I confirm it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't take any of this stuff at face value anymore because they've got it wrong so many times.
Yeah. It's getting crazy.
Like this guy here, TLDR News, he's apparently explaining the fire. I guess we could see what he says. This guy could be a complete.
We have no
jabroni.
idea who this guy is. I just pulled
Right.
a random video up.
Yeah, good luck, guys.
Yeah.
Y'all hang tight.
like this one going forward. So, the Gulf of Mexico was on fire. Yes. Isn't it a body of water? Well, yes, but it was still on fire. How? Well, let me explain that and the Mexican politics behind this whole situation right now. You heard me right a second ago, and your eyes aren't deceiving you. That is the Gulf of Mexico, a body of water on fire.
He
Well,
already sounds
kind
more
of.
articulate than we
More
are.
specifically, though,
This dude does know what he's talking about,
the
apparently.
Yucatan Peninsula that's on fire. The cause of the gas leak isn't clear at the moment, with one source telling
No,
Reuters
shut up, dude.
Okay.
You don't even know.
Well, no. He's saying it's not clear at the moment. So that's kind of what I was hearing.
with one source telling Reuters that it was caused by an electrical storm and heavy rain, although even that's not clear at the moment. Now, the platform and the pipeline in question are both managed by an organization called Pemex. And this particular platform and area are actually very important to Pemex, with about 40% of the company's oil coming from here alone. That's 700,000 barrels of crude oil every single day. It's worth noting at this point that Pemex is Mexico's state oil company, with the business run by the Mexican government and contributing a third of the country's tax revenue. They might pay a lot of tax and help fund the government, but Pemex isn't exactly the most financially
Imagine that one company accounting for a third
Yeah.
of your tax revenue. So what happens if that company goes down? The country goes down. That's so dangerous. But it's Mexico.
Stable as the most indebted oil company in the world, holding $107 billion worth of debt in 2019. They've also got a very troubled safety record. In just the last 10 years, they've notably killed 30 people in an explosion at a gas plant, 37 more when an administrative building exploded, a further
Wait a
4
minute.
died in a platform
Hold
fire.
on. How does an administrative building explode?
You're doing dangerous stuff like drilling oil, but your office people are the one that died in an explosion. That's a little sus.
28 died when a plant exploded, 137 died when a pipeline exploded in a Mexican village, and there was also another tanker fire, where luckily no one died. So it's safe to say that Pemex has a spotty safety record.
Those people on that tanker are like, wow, out of all that, we're the ones that made it. What are the chances? Anyway,
mercy.
no wonder the ocean's on fire.
Yeah, so if you try to find the explanation, there's quite a few out there. So I guess it's just they haven't had time to investigate it, maybe.
Well, this guy does. He's getting to the bottom of it.
Yeah.
I trust him. Whoever that guy is, I trust you, sir.
And I like his shirt.
And I like your shirt.
There you go.
So, I don't know. What do you think? What is there any tie to that is deliberate, that would be
Well,
tied to the food stuff?
Once again, it's just going down the TikTok rabbit hole of, is all of this stuff connected? Because I haven't been able to personally verify it, but they're showing videos of 6 places around the world where these fires are going on. Some off the coast of Africa, just different places. And I haven't been able to find that, though. That's why I asked you to look to see if you could find it. Were you able to?
No.
Did you even look?
I tried to.
Did you really?
Well, I hit the I hit the search button on Google and stopped there.
Yeah, so I mean,
I got distracted, okay?
Well, on TikTok though, people have actual videos of it, and so I'm like, what? How are they finding it, and I can't find it? So,
Whoa.
what are you pulling up?
I don't know. Let's see. Ocean fire. We'll see what TikTok says.
I mean, it's a hashtag though.
Oh yeah. Ocean fire. Why is it only giving me accounts?
I have no idea.
Okay, so apparently I don't know how TikTok works, but anyway.
Yeah, well, you're on the computer instead of your phone.
Yeah, get out of here. So, I don't know. It's interesting nonetheless.
Yeah.
Listen, I mean, how quickly things can change. Life was good. The economy was rocking and rolling. And then by March of 2020, chaos has ensued and it's never stopped.
Well, and the last thing that ties all this together, or doesn't, I was thinking about the weather extremities we've had since the election. Places like Texas got to -2 degrees, which was the coldest it's been in like almost 100 years.
Right.
And then now they're having record-breaking heat waves around the country right now.
In places that don't get a lot of heat.
Right. I mean, to the point, I mean, it's really, really bad in some places. And that I'm just kind of wondering because, China has been able to manipulate the weather for a long time. It's been rumored that the U.S. and the U.K. can also manipulate the weather. And so you kind of wonder, is all of this tied together? Like they're, trying to get rid of the crops, manipulating the weather so that they can also, cause droughts and kill off crops before they really get,
Right.
growing. You know what I mean? So it's just something, and that's an article just talking about weather manipulation.
And this is just from December 2020.
Right.
China is scaling up its weather modification program, or Program E. It's obviously Frenchies wrote this. Here's why we should be worried. And it says, between 2012 and 2017, China reportedly spent more than 1.34 billion. Well, I don't know. Is that billion?
I can't see from here.
Tackling weather shortages by wresting control of the elements, but what it plans to do is on a completely different scale. Earlier this month, China State Council announced that by 2025, its weather modification program will cover around half of the country. It is aiming to control rain and snow across the area that is more than 1.5 times the size of India or 20 times the size of the UK. In other words, a bloody huge area.
Bloody huge. I don't know if you remember during Katrina, people were blaming George Bush for the hurricane. Because back then, I mean, this particular program's been going on for decades, but I just remember that distinctly being people saying, you could have stopped that, and
Right.
you didn't, because they had the ability to.
Well, it was that. Yeah, you're right. That was a big thing, and the response. Really, what I remember from Katrina, because I remember being fascinated by the whole thing and locked in on the TV for day after day after day, watching all this stuff. One, because it was so tragic, but two, because it was like we were watching this in real time, and it was not something we're used to now. When it comes to hurricanes and everything else, like, we're used to that stuff.
Right.
We're used to watching the weather guys and the Weather Channel literally stand in front of a dam that's about to break. Like,
Literally.
they don't even care. Remember when Geraldo did that after Katrina? The next hurricane that came through, and Geraldo was standing in front of it.
He needs to get back in front of
And
it.
and the right, and the water was like rushing over the thing, and he was standing there just trying to balance himself because the wind was blowing so hard. Like, that's what we deal with now, but back then, it was rare that we watched a tragedy like this in real time, day after day after day after day.
Right.
And it was, I don't want to say it was must-see TV, but it was the old saying of, a train wreck that you can't take your eyes off of.
I lived in Albuquerque at the time, and they brought a lot of people into Albuquerque from Louisiana during that, the buses that took people out.
Right.
Yeah.
And did you know anybody that was in that area when all that happened?
I mean, I know people now that lived in that area at the time, but no, at the time I didn't know anybody, no.
Well, and then one of the big takeaways from that, possibly one of the most memorable things from Katrina, was the telethon that they did.
Yeah.
And it was, I was going to call him Mike Myers. Is his name Mike Myers?
I think so. Yeah.
Mike Myers and Kanye West, and they're reading a script. Okay, they're not like freestyling it. They're reading a teleprompter, and then Kanye West just completely goes off script, and he says, George Bush doesn't care about black people, and the look on Mike Myers' face was absolutely
I mean, he's from
stunning.
Wayne's World and Saturday Night Live. Like, why is this guy hosting this to begin with,
Right. Well, they wanted people to give money, so they needed big-time celebs
I
that
guess.
everybody liked.
Will to rebuild and remain in the area. The destruction of the spirit of the people of southern Louisiana and Mississippi may end up being the most tragic loss of all.
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
Please call.
Look at his face.
And then they cut to Chris Tucker, and he's just a shot.
Tucker's like, what?
And Kanye West, with no emotion on his face whatsoever, George Bush doesn't care about black people.
Oh my God, I love Kanye. I absolutely love Kanye.
I got angry that Kanye did that at that time. I was like, it's inappropriate to do that right now. But I almost understand Kanye's emotions at the time, because they were seeing people be shot for looting and different things like this
Right.
by law enforcement, which, hey, you can't loot no matter what. But then there's the other side of it, where it was people were stranded, they were starving to death,
Right.
and some of them were looting food, but others were looting TVs and stuff.
Yeah, I remember seeing people carry TVs. I don't know where they were taking them to, but
So it was a situation where tensions were high. You know, the news obviously doing what they can to fuel the fire of racial tension and everything else they do to divide us as a society. But I was like, come on, Kanye. And now I look back and I'm like, well, George Bush was kind of a scumbag. So
absolutely.
I don't feel like defend. Even though I think Kanye was wrong, I'm not going to defend George Bush.
I think Kanye was right.
He probably was.
Yeah, I think a lot of what Kanye says is correct. quite frankly.
Well, here's the thing: these people that have been in politics for decades, most of them have a handful of racist bones in their body because they all used to be on the same page about how they viewed.
I don't even think it's about hating black people, white people, whatever. I think they just hate anyone that's below their class.
Yeah, they hate people.
Yeah,
they hate the
I don't
American
even think.
people.
Yeah, I don't think it even has to do with color. I think it just has to do with they're elitist.
Right.
You know.
I agree 100%.
Look at that look on Tom Hanks's face.
Oh no. No, listen. Last time we brought up Tom Hanks,
we got banned.
I ended up with my second strike on YouTube. No, that was the first strike. Then I got a second strike.
Yeah.
I got about 20 some odd days left to be able to reset
Skirt
my
the
strike.
line.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. Hopefully we can pull it off.
Yeah, and the rest of the stuff that I pulled up were just random ones that people are excited about on TikTok, like the door-to-door vaccines.
Can we visit that real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
I know we don't talk about politics on this show.
Well, and
but
to tie it all together, a lot of the people are saying that they're going to control the food supply to force people to get the vaccines.
Oh.
And that's really what a lot of them are saying. You know, you get different people have their different opinions, but a lot of people think that they're going to make people take the vaccines in order to get food.
I was talking to a guy yesterday, African-American gentleman. He worked at a hospital.
Yeah.
And we were talking about COVID and everything else. And he's like, you going to get the vaccine? I'm like, no, bro. And he's like, me neither, man. I don't trust it. And we started talking. And first of all, disclaimer, if you were watching this and you've got the vaccine, that's perfectly fine. I'm not saying the vaccine is dangerous. I do think the vaccine has some adverse side effects for some people, but that's the case with any medication. So if you took it, especially if you're high risk, that's fine.
Right.
If you're around
It's your
high-risk
choice.
people, that's fine. Now, if you're taking it and you don't need it, and especially if you're taking it and you've already had COVID, I think you're a dummy. But besides all that, we were talking, and I was like, here's the thing, man. Whenever the government is that adamant about you doing something, especially when it comes to taking a certain medication or a vaccine, like, look how hard they're pushing this stuff. That is a giant red flag. It takes me back to almost buying a Camry from a guy on the west side of Birmingham and him being so pushy about it in the final days where I said, I'll get it. Just give me a day or two. This is the American people saying, hey, we'll get the vaccine, but then the government ramps up its efforts to say, you got to get a vaccine. We'll give you free Ubers and Lyfts and free child care and money and everything and free beer.
We need to talk about that.
Anyway, Joe Biden on his door-to-door deal. Let's play this real quick.
Okay.
And then we'll go that route. Now, keep in mind, I don't know. I haven't listened to this. Some of the audio on this clip in particular was really shoddy. So if this one's shoddy, we're not going to be able to play it. But
okay,
because I had already looked it up once for the other show.
In today's briefing,
that's good.
We discussed how our administration is going to devote the remainder of the summer to a special focus on 5 ways to make gains in getting those of you who are unvaccinated vaccinated. Because here's the deal. We are continuing to wind down the mass vaccination sites that did so much in the spring to rapidly vaccinate those eager to get their first shot and their second shot, for that matter, if they needed a second. Now we need to go to community by community, neighborhood by neighborhood, and oftentimes door to door, literally knocking on doors to get help to the remaining people protected from the virus.
We're going to come knock on your door to help you. The last thing you ever want to hear in your life, and I think Ronald Reagan made this quote, is the most dangerous words in human history is, I'm the government and I'm here to help. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what you will hear when they come knocking on your door.
Right. The
fact that they're willing to do that, because let's look at the stats, y'all. This is common sense. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a virologist. I know very little about this, but what I do know is if you've caught the virus, you have immunity. There is a chance of you catching the virus twice. I've caught it twice. That's
it's just
fine.
not as severe.
It's just not as severe.
Right.
And it was not. But if you've caught the virus, you've got immunity, possibly better immunity than you would if you only got the vaccine. You've got natural immunity. We got beaten over the head with the number of COVID cases for a year. 1 million, 5 million, 10 million, 100 million. Over and over. Every day, the number was larger and larger and larger. Well, now we've got however much of the population, 50%, 60% of the population that's gotten the vaccine. If you take that number and mix it with the number of people that have caught the virus, we're probably close to full immunity in this freaking country.
So why are we going
So
through
why
all
are we
this?
pushing it so hard? Why?
Well,
That's the red flag.
Well, and I'll tell you, a red flag for me, besides the door-to-door thing, is the fact that a child at 12 years old can make medical decisions and a parent not know. And they're talking about sending these vaccines to the schools to vaccinate the children.
Do you have the video that you took of Peyton when you asked him the question?
Yeah, but
send it to.
Okay.
Can we play it real quick?
Yeah, we can play it real quick. Or do you just want to take my phone and play
No,
it in?
just send it to me.
But they're offering Xboxes and PlayStations, and for you guys that don't know, you can't get these gaming systems right now. If your kid, like my kid wanted it for Christmas, there was no
The
getting it.
PS5.
Yeah, but they're offering it if you get vaccinated. Why are they offering gaming systems? I'll tell you why, because these kids are going to do it.
Well, and then Joe Biden yesterday or the day before brought in what's her name? What's the name of the girl that sings the song like a dance sociopath? What's the name of that song? It's called Good For You. Yes, I know that song. I listen to it all the time. It's a good song. And her name is Olivia Rodrigo, okay? Joe Biden brought Olivia Rodrigo, who's apparently a former Disney star. Now she's a big pop singer, and she's very popular. But he's bringing her to the White House to team up with him to encourage people, young people, to get the vaccine. Not adults, not older people. It was specifically for a campaign to get young people to get the vaccine, which we know has not turned out well for some children. And you don't come at me, YouTube, because this is in fact reported that some kids have been adversely affected by the vaccine, mainly from heart enlargement.
And incidentally, they're reporting those deaths as a heart enlargement, not as a side effect of,
Yeah, after we've reported every single medical condition is COVID.
You got hit by a bus, but it was COVID.
Right.
It's coming through.
It's coming through.
Yeah, but like I sent you a TikTok of them going door to door. They're even in costumes. Like
what? Oh, yeah, I know which one you're talking about. Surely that wasn't an actual government thing going door to door. Maybe it was a special, like a separate private company doing it, or some kind of contract. I can't imagine that the government was dressed up as COVID.
That's something else that's on TikTok are all of these people with their Ring cameras, people coming to their doorway with the shot. I mean, this is crazy to me.
And he said, literally, he used the word literally, door to door.
Yeah.
He said, and literally, come door to door, knocking on people's doors. That should scare the crap out of everybody.
Well, and TikTok has gotten these days to be like YouTube was 5 years ago, where you could pick a topic and get on there and get all points of view. You could find information out that you'd like literally never heard anywhere else. And you can't do that anymore. They've got it so censored. Is it not coming through?
I don't think it's going to come through. Let me
There
try
it
it one more time.
It's right there.
Oh, it came through. All right. So what happened was Trish pulled out her camera and she asked P. Diddy if he wanted to get the vaccine, or if he would get the vaccine. And P. Diddy, as you guys know, he's a smart kid. He's not gonna. He knows that getting the vaccine for a child is not a good thing.
Well,
like he gets that.
And the point of me doing it with Peyton is that he is around people that talk about this stuff every day. He's not your typical kid that doesn't hear about this stuff. He hears about it every day. I mean, because his dad, you know.
Well, she just posed the question
Right.
of, hey, I know how you feel about this. You feel the same way we do. But, and he didn't know this was a thing. He's like, if somebody offered you
Well, just you can play the video. It says it in the video.
a console, what would your, in exchange for getting the vaccine, what would your response
And I want
be?
you to watch his face change.
All right, here we go. God bless this little boy.
All right, Peyton. I'm going to ask you a question. I want you to be 100% honest. Answer it truthfully, and this video won't go anywhere unless you want it to.
Oops. No,
Okay.
oops. Go.
I want you to answer.
We didn't even
Hold
ask his
on.
permission.
You need to ask him real quick.
Nah, I'll be all right. It's my kid. I'm the one that calls the shots on this stuff anyway.
Not what you think your dad or mom will say, but what you would actually do, okay? If your parents, first of all, do you want to get the vaccine? No. What if you were offered a PS5 or an Xbox at school and your parents would never know you got it? You got to make the decision yourself and they give you a free game system. Would you do it?
Yeah.
You would? That's what I thought. And why would you do it?
Because my family members got it, and nothing's wrong with them, but so I did it.
Okay. No right or wrong answer.
So he views it as, okay, I don't want to get it because I know what I've heard about it, what my dad says about it. But if I could get it in secret
He rationalizes it.
over
Right.
a game system, I would do it simply based on the fact that some of my family has gotten the vaccine and they seem to be fine.
Yeah, he rationalizes it. He goes from, no way, I'm not doing that, to, well, it'll be all right.
I mean, it is a BS5.
It'll be all right.
So, and that's what they're doing. You know, this is a well-rounded kid that knows what's going on in the world. So imagine kids that don't get any exposure to what's going on in the world, the news, politics of it all, any world events. Like, they just know what they hear on places like TikTok or from their favorite celebrity.
Listen, let me just tell you a little story about Peyton. One night we went to play laser tag, and I can't remember what the subject was at the time, but we had a freshman in college and a senior in high school, or no, a sophomore, junior in high school sitting in the back seat. And he was having to explain something that was going on in the political world at the time. Do you remember what it was?
Mm-mm.
I can't remember. I've got a video of it. But Peyton's sitting in the back seat, and this was 3 years ago. So he was how old? 7.5?
Yeah.
8? And he's explaining it. So this is a kid that knows. Like, he knows politics. He knows all this stuff. He has his opinions. And he very quickly switched. And I think that's scary.
Yeah.
You know?
Very scary.
Yeah. That's the only other thing I had to talk about. Oh, the UFOs. We didn't talk about that.
Well, there's nothing to really talk about.
I know. It was only like a 9-page, they released it and it was only 9 pages full of nothing, basically.
Yeah.
They basically confirmed that the UFOs are real and they don't know where they came from.
The way they did it was they slowly released the summary of the report to the
Right.
media. So the media is like, oh, we've got bits and pieces of it,
We're
which they
chomping.
thought was true, which was they don't really know what it is. So now we're all sitting on pins and needles waiting on the actual report, thinking there's going to be more than that. It'll give us a little more insight, and really that was all of it. So
Yeah.
it was a big letdown, and nobody's talking anymore about it.
Right. I mean, it's nowhere. No one's
No.
talking about it.
And it's a big deal because we're talking about if, in fact,
Extraterrestrials.
these
yeah.
are other beings
Yeah.
with the kind of capabilities that the military is describing they have, they could evaporate this planet in no
Well,
time.
not only that, but you have world leaders that are saying they're not only real, but they are in politics. They are already making decisions. That's a big deal.
Right, because we all know Hillary is a reptilian.
So it's Justin
Satan
Bieber.
worshiper. I'm just kidding, you two. I'm just kidding.
And the last thing was the Freedom Phone. Have you seen that?
No, I have not.
Okay, so for you guys that don't know, Apple and Google have at one time taken Parler off of the App Store. They've censored a lot of the conservative apps. You've got Rumble, Parler, different things like that. So this guy, who is like one of the youngest billionaires, decided to make a phone that, well, just play the video. This is
Name one time in history where the people who banned books...
I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
No, I wanted you to go ahead and just play it.
...media and opinions were the good guys. Hi, I'm Eric. I'm the world's youngest Bitcoin millionaire. I made it in Silicon Valley, and I've accomplished a lot in my life already. But now, I'm leaving big tech to fight for free speech. Because the big tech overlords are violating your privacy, censoring your speech, and I think that's so wrong.
Can I just say, why doesn't he have a shirt on? Can I just interrupt this right now because this bugs me? Where's his shirt?
You talking about his undershirt? Maybe he doesn't realize.
That's a hoodie. Like that's like a jacket. Where is his shirt?
Well, if I had that much money, I probably wouldn't wear a shirt at all.
You know what this reminds me of is they showed up at his house and they're like, we got to shoot this video real quick. Throw a shirt on. So he threw a hoodie on, like a pullover.
That's true.
And they popped his collar to make him look a little more formal.
That's exactly what happened.
And it's uncensorable App Store. Everyone is complaining about big tech censorship, but no one is doing anything about it. They say, build your own phone. So I did. Freedom Phone truly is the best phone in the world. It does everything your current phone does, except censor you and spy on you. With the Freedom Phone, your freedom of speech is our #1 priority. That's why we built our own app store that is completely uncensored. If an app you love has been banned from the mainstream app stores, you can still download it on ours because we don't ban apps, period. And we've developed the first operating system based on your free speech. There's no app tracking, no keyboard tracking, and no location tracking because I believe in your security. How do we ensure you're being protected? Say hello to Trust. Trust is our privacy guard. It's designed to warn you whenever an app or a website is tracking you and gives you the option to stop it. Your data, your rules. That's our motto. The Freedom Phone is comparable to the best smartphones on the market. It has an edge-to-edge screen, a super fast processor, and multiple cameras. And your SIM card transfers into the Freedom Phone seamlessly. Big tech companies hold a monopoly on public communication and the dissemination of information, and they are abusing that power. Nobody elected Mark or Jack to be the arbiters of truth in America, yet they still thought it was okay to ban a sitting president from their platforms. If they censor a president, they will censor anyone. Imagine if Mark Zuckerberg censored MLK or Abraham Lincoln. The course of history would have been altered forever. Out of all the constitutional amendments, there's a reason why the founding fathers made the right to free speech the very first. I believe you have a voice that deserves to be heard without being censored. Protect yourself from big tech censorship. Let your voice be heard. Live free with the Freedom Phone.
So I wouldn't be opposed to this, but I would want, first of all, I would need more details. What does super fast processor mean? Also, I need a little backstory on this guy because with the way the government ends up
putting their hand in everything,
patsies or paying people to do something, this just seems like it almost comes off as a new way for them to track people, a more broad way to track people, because they're talking about that. The FBI just put out a statement asking you to snitch on your family and friends if they are displaying extremist behavior. And their definition of extremist behavior is just being something like pro-Second Amendment.
Right. Well, I can't speak to it because I don't know the guy, but Candace Owens, this is somebody that she's known for a long time and developed an app with like a long time ago. And this is someone she's personal friends with. Her and her husband switched over to his phone like 3 or 4 weeks ago. They've been testing it out themselves. But if you go to Candace Owens' Facebook, she did a live video talking about it, and that's what got my attention. I didn't know her husband was the CEO of Parler. Did you know that?
I didn't. I knew. The only person I knew was involved with it was Dan Bongino.
Well, her husband is the CEO of Parler, and so Yeah.
How about that?
I thought that was kind of interesting. But you can go to Candace Owens' Facebook page, and she talks about this guy, how she knows him, the level of trust she has in him, and that's the only reason I thought, okay, there might be something to this, because I respect Candace Owens.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's it for this edition of Highly Suspect. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you drop a comment, you drop a like, and you help us get the word out by sharing these videos, because we've got many things on the horizon that we're very excited about. And we put a lot of work and effort into this stuff.
We watch a lot of TikTok.
Trish absolutely puts in a lot of work, and then I'm putting in work just showing up with such little sleep.
Yeah.
So
this poor guy. Can I just tell him about your sleep schedule this week?
Sure.
He's been getting up at 3 o'clock.
Pity me. 3
o'clock in the morning, going to work, coming home midday doing his show, and then going back to work.
Sometimes having to do the show at night.
Going back to work at 4 or 5 o'clock. Until 4 or 5 o'clock.
No later. I'm leaving the house between 3 and 3:30.
No. I'm talking about in the evening.
Oh,
I'm saying in the morning, you go to work at 3, come home midday, do your show, and then get back on the road, and then get home around 4 or 5 o'clock. And
my eyes are getting heavy listening to you talk about that.
He's pretty tired because we were up kind of late last night. So I got 2.5 hours sleep. I think you got about 4.
Yeah, maybe. If I'm lucky.
One day this will be a full-time gig for you, and you won't have to do all of this mess anymore.
That'll be the goal. Once we can make this podcast lucrative enough where I can spend all my time and energy on it, life is going to be a lot better, because in all honesty, and I have a lot of guilt because of this, but time with my kid, I feel like it's been dramatically reduced between work and this. And work I can't change, and this I really can't change, because we're building
future,
something.
Yeah.
But it's really taken away, not from me being a father, but me spending an abundant amount of quality time with my kids. So I'm really working on that and trying to be better about that, because before being a good successful podcaster or radio guy or even a good Uber driver, my number one goal is to be a good dad and a good husband.
You're gonna make me cry.
So that's all I'm looking to do. So
you're a great dad.
We're gonna make it work.
And I'm sure you're gonna be a wonderful husband.
Now that we've got all emotional right here at the end of the show,
that's what happens on 2 hours of sleep.
We're gonna get out of here.
Yes.
Thank y'all again. Don't forget, drop a comment, hook us up, let us know what you think and what you want to hear us talk about next time. We may just take up your idea.
And special thanks to the Patreons.
Patreon, thank you guys so much. We love y'all. And also Vapor Forge, thank you to those guys as well. We appreciate everybody involved with making the show.
And if you guys want to advertise on either one of the shows, kind of get with us.
We're opening up some slots, some affordable slots. So if you are a business owner, and you need to help me remember to start putting this out there, because I forget. If you are a business owner and you would like to get on this show and have us endorse your business, we would be more than happy to talk to you. Now, the only requirement is, one, we want to do business with you, but two,
you gotta make sure you're reputable.
We got to make sure you're a good business, because we can't tell our audience to go see somebody that we don't 100% know is going to treat them right.
Well, and at this point, like Vapor Forge, for instance, is seeing enough of the listeners that it really is getting out there.
Right.
Like the word's getting out there. So it is worth advertising at this point.
Yep. If you want some testimonials about getting shout outs on this show, we don't have a large audience like a lot of people, but the one thing we do have, we have dedicated, loyal audience members that want to support our businesses because they know our businesses support us.
Right.
Ultimately, that's their way of supporting us. So
awesome.
Anyway, that's it.
Yes.
So until next time.
See ya, guys.